Black Lives Matter to me was the first time in my life that I could be unapologetic and not have to explain that this is the way this world and its machinations have impacted me, and I've got something to say about that. And I don't have to make it not be offensive to a group of people who have directly benefited, if they may not have directly perpetrated these things, but who have directly and continuously benefited from my oppression. My name is Donna Davis, and I am a co-founder of Black Lives Matter Tampa, and I am also one of 4 chapter leads. We started in December of 2014, and after the verdict from Mike Brown came back, and our response to that was to start an informal chapter of Black Lives Matter. We put up a Facebook page and we said, listen, let's talk about these things. This is a safe space in which you can talk about those things. People are going to argue at you, shout you down, but you can have that conversation in here. The next thing is we have to excite people. We say to them, what if we took this to the streets? What if we took this to City Hall? What if we got on a bus and went to DC? I think the next phase is to educate people, to say, we're really passionate about this, and here's why. We are dreaming the world that we hope for into existence, and we're providing people with information. When people are educated, they invest. Now they're able to find the time. They're able to find the 2 hours when they get done sitting in the bank all day. They're able to question their affiliation with organizations that are responsible for the Dakota pipeline. And that's what education does. It frees people to make a different set of choices, because hopefully as they receive new information, their opinions and their positions and their ideas change. The 4th phase is activation. We activate people. Now you have the information. Now you understand what's at stake. Now you understand the potentials that rest here. Go out, not under any one umbrella. Even if you need to strike out on your own, if you need to start an organization, if you need to write grants for a nonprofit, if you need to run for office, however you choose to manifest that, education and excitement, the activation is the final phase. Getting from that invitation, excitement, education, and activation. If we do it right, we can win this. It's not impossible. We spent the last 2 years mobilizing, as opposed to really hardcore organizing, getting down into the communities, having dialogue and building relationships with stakeholders, because we just needed to know that there were enough people out there who would listen to what we had to say. We decided that it was time for Tampa to have a surge so that we could talk about racial justice.
My name is Angel D'Angelo, and I am one of the organizers with Surge Tampa, which is showing up for racial justice in Tampa, Florida. Getting involved with a group like Surge or BLM is a duty that we have as white folks, so that way we can actually change the system, not just for people of color, but for everybody, because it won't get better until, as Donna always says, those furthest in the margin come out of the margin.
Even though we're one of the most marginalized groups in the United States, we still have marginalized people inside of those groups. And the only way to get free was to get everybody free.
There is no issue that we can work on a political or social level that is not directly tied to racial justice. The 3 major points that Black Lives Matter has been focusing on for these last several years is policing and criminal justice, mainly directed at the Hillsborough County Sheriff, because that is a constitutionally elected position which has very minimal check and balances other than the election itself. Sheriff David Gee has been in his position since, I believe, 2004, unopposed. So that's a lot of power that needs to be redirected. So one point is the sheriff. The other point is the housing. Obviously, housing authority exists for those who are the most lower in the socioeconomic class, which is, of course, largely black people and people of color. So we have to work on what's going on in the housing as far as the availability and the way people are treated in housing and the discrimination they face. Another focal point is the education system. Of course, the school-to-prison pipeline is a nationwide thing, and that's no different here in Hillsborough County, as well as just the access and the achievement gap.
Tampa certainly has a timbre of the progressive place that it wants to be. But I know that our strivings, all of our strivings, there are many organizations in the city of Tampa who are doing the work, having the conversations, getting the information out so that we can achieve that dream of being a place where people can say, I know that I'm going to be able to go to Tampa and have an opportunity to meet people, to do things where I'm not limited by my sexual orientation, by my race, by my lack of an education, because I'm good at something.
So some of the achievements that I've seen in Tampa are just a overwhelming abundance of support lately, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with the Trump election, but just getting people out. So we want to go somewhere like downtown where a lot of people can get to easily. Also, because downtown is pretty vibrant, it does draw a lot of attention. So it's about getting seen and heard. As far as marches, they serve multiple purposes. For one, they build communities. So when we're out there marching, as we saw with the Women's March, you get a lot of people together and they form little communities within the community of people with common interests that say, hey, let's go work on this and let's go work on that. It gets people energized and it gets people feeling like they're part of something, and that's the first step to getting people to continue to come out.
We looked at other iterations of liberation movements around the world. I listened to a Palestinian freedom song called Rita about an Israeli man and a Palestinian woman who fell in love. We were listening to folk songs, Joan Baez. We were listening to even Leadbelly, right? We realized that we were missing out on an opportunity to use art as the ultimate form of expression. And it was heartfelt enough that people might lean in and want to learn more about what we're trying to do.
Crazy to lay complacent in this day and age. There's nothing you could pay me, no. I'm screaming fight for all people till it's right for all people, till it's right for all people. I'm screaming fight for all people till it's right for all people, till it's right for all people. I'm screaming fight for all people till it's right for all people, till it's right for all people. I'm screaming fight for all people till it's right for all people. And if all lives matter, when will all lives matter? When will black lives matter? And if all lives matter, when will all lives matter? When will trans lives matter? And if all lives matter, when will all lives matter? When will Muslim lives matter? And if all lives matter, when will all lives matter?
I love people more deeply because of the work that I've done in Black Lives Matter. I love everybody more deeply because of it. It's changed me. And hopefully, this is an entry point for us to start telling the truth about a number of things, not just about Black lives, but about our humanity. So hopefully this work will free us to be able to say to another human being, I've harmed you, but I love you. And I'd like for us to restore our humanity in this space. That's what, at its core, Black Lives Matter is. You don't have to organize with any one group, right? So I'm not gonna say, come and be a part of Surge or BLM. I'm going to say, organize something, talk to someone, do something. If you can't deal with other people outside of the immediate group, what the hell are you gonna do? Let's go forward together.